Hi everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa, and today, miraculously, I'm going to show you how to paint an oceanside rooster at dawn with poppies. So this is pretty much something only you would find here, because I would be one who was like, you know where we need a rooster? During dawn, by the beach, with poppies. That's a perfect rooster. So I put this image together. I don't know if, the mic today is my husband, John.
Hey guys.
He's going to be tracking me with all the cameras and making sure you guys see every bit of the action so you can create this for yourself at home. I know some of you guys are like, really? Got some, what is this? Off of, okay.
Your hair is attacking you.
We're professionals here, and my hair is attacking me. He's going to make sure you see every part of it so that if you guys are collecting roosters and chickens and poppies or any of that, which, by the way, this rooster poppy thing is really hot right now, and I thought this actually kind of went with the wine painting yesterday. You can make this yourself. So are you guys ready to just sort of like hop on into it?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, today, like yesterday, we have one wish, which is a cure for cancer, remission for people who are battling it, in support and love for the families going through it right now. And then we have one very important birthday wish. I would love all the Sherpettes, all the light keepers, everyone showing up at the live to wish Janine a happy birthday. Happy birthday, girl. Hope you are doing fantastic. So I've got my 11 by 14 canvas over here. If you check the description below, it's a complete list of the materials we will be using today. But right now, I've got to lay out my rooster painting, which I'm thinking is going to be about a 3 hoot. Might be 2 hoot, but it could lean to 3 depending on how crazy I get about it today. And I'm going to show you how I sketch this in. But if you don't like to sketch, remember we do have a free traceable at that link below along with the reference. That you can have for yourself. And John's got the reference. He can show you anytime what we're painting today.
Oh, here we go. Pull it.
There it is. Yes, that is from the mind of the Sherpa. I'm going to grab a number 4 cat's tongue and block a couple things in. And then I'm going to tone the canvas with my Indian yellow here. So I have glazing liquid, burnt umber, and Indian yellow. But you guys could use like any yellow deep that you have. You could use a Telluride yellow. This is just a very warm yellow. And if all you have is a cad yellow, you could go for that too, toned with a little bit of yellow ochre. So don't feel like you can't. I'm going to load this up with just my burnt umber because that's what I need right now. This is my glazing liquid, Gloss Glazing Liquid by Golden. This is a slow drying extender and a glaze, so it's kind of cool. Now, in the upper third of the canvas, I've got to put in my horizon line. Otherwise, I will have no idea where my ocean stops and my sky begins. And that's really going to be hard on the painting. So I'm going to just take my T-square and make a nice level line across the top. Because water at the distance is going to be level, right? They could be all crazy and tipping out and pouring off the planet. That would not work incredibly well. I have got some wonderful chunky rocks like right here that have my rooster someplace to stand because he needed a good perch to greet the morning. So I'm going to come over with my burnt umber from my right hand side about a whole hand width up, and I'm going to make a little rock shape. And that's a lot like cloud shapes. It's got to be weird and uneven. It doesn't have to be like perfect. And then there's going to be a second little rock shape that comes out like this. See that? Got it. Then a nice little walking path, which is going to come across here and disappear behind this rock. And then, of course, we have some really cool rock shapes that are here at the shoreline. So this rock shape is going to come up and point over kind of towards the right. And then he has a little friend that's super jaggedy right there. You know, maybe that there's a little friend that curves into the path because, you know, there's always somebody that intrudes, right? So I'm just sketching in these generalized little rock shapes and path shape so that when I put my rooster in, he's in some space, right? And I'm going to want to know where he is a little bit. So one of the things that I can do is I can do what's called blocking him in, right? So I know his head comes a bit above my horizon line. And the nice thing about a skull is it always starts with sort of a circle. You just want to make sure that you're getting that circle a good size. It looks like I'm going for the quarter. I'm saying it's about a quarter, but we'll see how it sketches in. Now I'm being really crazy and sketching in with some paint, and that's just kind of so you guys can see it. I'm bringing my line diagonally towards my rock, and then I'm going to bring this back because he's standing. He's very stately standing on some rock stuff here. So I'm going to just say, yes, sir, you're right there, feeling very stately, right? And his head is up, so when I go to do that, I need to keep that in mind. And then I've got this beautiful back curve of his neck, right? Because he's got this part of feathers. And I'll make sure I match that with a front curve. What's wonderful with acrylic paint is you can get these sketched in and then change your mind in the middle of it. I'm going to bring this back and show some of these feathers coming down, and then I know I've got some feathers that come up a good bit past my horizon line, and that's actually how I would sketch in this weird crazy little painting. Like if I was just like at the beach painting, I would be like, how am I doing this? And I'd be like, oh, like this. Let me kind of reposition the foot because I know it's going to be there. And I know I've got a bunch of poppies here. But once I have this, and I could be like, here's a little beak. Beaking up, right? And then we know he's got a little little crow happening here. And some nice little waddles down there. This layout kind of lets me look at where my objects are going to be. And I can actually be that crazy and loose about it and still get a beautiful painting out of it. And interestingly enough, so can you. But remember, at this stage, you could just transfer your traceable onto the canvas and work on those painting skills and not worry about this drawing thing. I just know a lot of you guys are like, I need to know how it's done. Now I'm going to take a big brush. And I'm going to do what's called toning the canvas. And this is sort of the undercolor of this whole canvas that's going to glow through everything. I felt Indian yellow would be just super perfect for a sunrise. And I'm just going to paint a thin glaze of this over the whole canvas. What do you guys think of that?
Wow.
I don't know what everyone thinks of it. Here's what. I'm getting a rooster with some poppies out of this today, so I win no matter what.
I really like this painting. This is, I like all of the animals you've done, the farm animals.
Yes.
You know, those have been some of my favorite. I really like the cow one.
I love the cow too.
The cow is one of my favorites, and I think this is my new animal favorite.
Because he's Sassy Rooster.
Friends
to Judgment Rooster.
This is a very interesting story being told here, actually.
Isn't it?
Well, because, we have to go, well, what kind of rooster is this? I think this is an American rooster, right?
I believe so. He is the rooster that I liked the best on an isolated white background that I could crop out to stick in my world.
And what I mean by that is not that they don't have breeds of chickens all over the place, but
because everybody has a breed of chicken.
Yeah, everybody has, and I think that this looks like if we presume that this is an American chicken, right? Then we say he's meeting the morning, right? At
the beach.
So that means he's on the East Coast, right?
Oh my goodness.
So he's got to be maybe a Maine chicken with those poppies growing behind him.
So this could be literally the Friggle Crafter's chicken.
You know what? It could be.
This could be Lizzie's chicken. Wasn't even a plan. Well, there you go.
That's funny. I don't know. Do they grow poppies in Maine? I imagine they do.
I think you can get poppies anywhere, can't you? If you plant the seeds and you have the right temperature.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying, the temperature-wise. New York, it could be a New York chicken.
That's a pretty luminous canvas, isn't it?
It is. It glows.
It glows. So now what we're going to do is we're going to dry it all. Because we got to dry it all. And then we're going to make the rock texture that we can then later paint around. Because the speckle part, we're going to want to paint over that. So let's get this dry and I can show you the next part of what we're going to do.
Okay. So while she's drying that, don't forget that if you're drying yours at home, make sure you use your hair dryer on the lowest heat setting, because really all you're wanting to do is blow some air over it to help cure that top layer of paint. And that's so that when you're adding your next layers of paint, that you're not picking up those lower layers and getting muddied colors and things like that. So it really helps keep those layers nice and and isolated, so to speak, when you're painting them down. Oh yeah, don't forget to check out in the description below. You will find a link to our website, which will have the traceable, the reference image, and all the materials and things that you'll need to know about to finish this project, along with all the other interesting nanimals that Cinnamon has painted over the years that she's done. If you haven't checked out her cow, I highly suggest it. It's sort of a pop art cow. I like it a lot. It's pretty cool. I've seen some of you guys paint it. I don't know what Cinnamon's doing. She's disappeared. She's exploring. I don't know. This is not. We seem to have lost the Sherpa.
I'm looking for stuff.
What are you looking for?
My white
Can I get it for you?
and my black.
She's gone off. She's. I can't control the Sherpa, guys. She's just.
I went rogue.
She just went. She was like, the tether, I can go there now.
It was very close. It was a very good move of things.
We moved some of the supplies closer because we're starting to get new studio layout figured out.
So I'm going to use some interesting colors to get some grays out of all of this sort of space. I'm going to put my Cat Red light out. Love this red. You think, wait, we're painting poppies already? No, we're totally not. I'm going to put out some Doc's purple. I'm going to try to keep the black really for my deepest shadows and for my rooster feathers and things, especially if I try to go for that iridescence. Who knows? I have all my tools here now, so I could totally change my mind about how I'm doing iridescence. This is still good. I think I'll put out some burnt sienna. I have alizarin crimson in quinacridone, and that's just because I needed a bunch of variations in my reds. I felt to get this painting to come together.
There's a lot of reds in it.
I feel like there is a lot of different red, and I didn't want to be like limited in my red.
So now,
if at all possible, you know how you are.
On our scale of 1 to 3 difficulty,
3.
This is a 3. We generally go by hoots because, owls hoot. And so
Owls have hoots.
We say 1 hoot, 2 hoot, or 3 hoot. And this would definitely be in that 3 hoot
Did
category.
I list zinc white in this?
Zinc white? Is that what it says?
I don't know. Did I list zinc white? I didn't put it out, and I don't know if that's because I didn't list it or maybe I'm not using it. It's okay if I'm not. I'm just making sure I got the colors I listed.
I don't think I see zinc white here.
Okay, then we're fine. Then we're okay.
I see titanium white, yeah.
Then we're okay.
And soft bodied white.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So first I've got to kind of work out some like grayish rock blue colors, right? So let's take a little of my burnt umber over here and say, hey, why don't you hang out with my phthalo blue? And this is actually going to make the base of some of my rocky color. And I'm going to like hit it with my red and my purple and my brown as I scumble it out. And then I'm going to do some splattering. And then I'm going to leave those sort of raw, and then I'll come back and define them after I get this background in, and you're going to get like the craziest, coolest rock texture out of this experience. So see my little gray here? That's a little bit green-blue. I'm going to get some white into it. Now you can see it. That's the rock color. This is a number 12 Silverstone round, and I'm going ahead and using this because I just want to start the scumbling of rock. I know that I've got grass coming up, but I'm still going to take the gray down. Already you can see that the yellow is sort of peeking through, right?
Yeah.
And this little scumbly thing is making a nice little interesting pattern to my rock. Is it okay with you guys if I turn this to the side to have a better angle at it?
Yeah, totally. I can adjust the camera.
Can you? Can you do that? So I'm just, working this base gray. This is a really wonderful gray for granite stones and natural objects. And it's one I definitely like. And you can see by the way I'm scumbling it, it's leaving a lot of the yellow coming through, doesn't it?
Yeah. Which
if you look at these rocks, you can kind of see that morning reflection on them. That warmth of the morning light. I've just decided this is morning. I don't actually know. This is just the sky that I got excited about. I just need to make sure that I've got these starting to scumble in. like you do. I don't really have to worry about this rock too much because I've got the rooster back here, but I definitely want to carry the color, even though I know he's going to be in front of it, just in case any part of it peeks out in an unexpected way. Isn't this fun?
Yeah.
Look at that. I've dusted it. It's dusted. Now, the top of this rock tends to be a little brighter than the front, bluer than the front of it. So I know I'm going to make some adjustments there. I'm going to come down the front just in case Mr. Rooster Pants moves at all, but I don't think he's going to. But I could move him. But I think I'll just make this whiter highlight right here. Like you do.
Like you do.
And see, this brush being all dusty like it is, you could use any of your bristle brushes if you've ever bought, like I love this because it doesn't shed on me and it's a very reliable little fellow. But, you know, if what you have is like some bristle brushes that you got once in a pack, it's an excellent time to get them out. Just be sure you wash them out vigorously in the sink to loosen any loose bristles or you will be miserable. Because that's one of the big issues besides the way that the bristles are brittle and overcooked on inexpensive brushes. I'm going to flip this way. I'm just making sure that there is a nice highlight here. And then I'm going to catch, you know, whatever little highlights I need to on this rock. And then right here. And then if this were showing, where would that be at? I'm just catching to make sure I've got some pouncy little highlights. Now you can get right into your blues and go much bluer into your gray, right? There we go. Let's come here. That's much bluer. It's just really cool. This is going to be the funnest rock lesson we've done. Well, I'm going to be having a great time. Hope you guys are too. I'm adding a little glaze. I'm going to add this little darker color under where my rooster is going to be. The front of this rock and his friends maybe a little bit. And you can just see how this shape is happening. Right? And that's always entertaining, I think. I'm going to get a little of my burnt sienna into this grouping. See this little color here? It's a little different. Make sure that I got a little walkway that's developing. Now I'm going to change brushes and tools because I feel like I have the beginning of something rather nice here. So for you at home, if you're looking at this, if you just saw this on your canvas, you might feel like, wow, I didn't stay in the lines and I'm being really messy and you might be really stressed, but actually you're doing pretty good. Next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to get some, I don't know, a little thin-bodied white out and a little thin-bodied black.
Now, what brush were you using there?
This is a number 12 Silverstone round. It's all bristles. It's really quality. You could also use a number 12 Cambridge round, which I would also recommend because those bristles are synthetic and synthetic filaments and bristles, so I think both are pretty good. All right, I'm going to just want to have some nice spacklies here. I'm going to need to get some different little colors in here. I'm going to take a little blue into that. See how we're doing?
Yeah.
And maybe I'll brown some of that up here. It needs to still be fluid enough to splatter, right? Different little values like you have. And I'm going to take my splattering tool. Now this tool is fantastic. This comes in my Galaxy set. I love this thing. But what you're looking for is a tool that gives you a consistent splatter. This is really going to bring your rocks out. And I'm going to just come close. And it doesn't even really matter like how I'm splattering it. It's all this little texture is going to be just so fantastic in this space on rocks. Right? Get a little more black on there. When you get stringies, it's that the paint is not fluid enough, and then if you get splats, it's too fluid. It's a whole thing. But again, for this ground, doesn't even matter. I just want these random little bits of rocky interest. Believe it or not, your rocks have random interest. There we go. Lots of little random interest here, huh? It's okay if a little of it gets into your ocean because you're repainting all around this. You're going to define these. But this underpainting work here is going to make some fine work of everything else you do. I'm loading up my lighter color now. Look at that. See, it was a little more fluid, so you could get a better droplet.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And I'm just adding that.
That's a really interesting little rock texture. You just came together there.
Yeah, and when I come back over it with a little palette knife, it's going to be like, what? That's amazing. And you'll be like, yeah, it's just so good.
You're trying to zoom in to see some of that.
Trying to give you guys some new thoughts. Some new thinking thoughts. I'm going to get right into my black here. It's a little more powerful than I would like, but I know I've got my white already on the bristle, so maybe it'll tone it back. I'm just trying to layer up some stones or whatnot. I think I've got some nice events here. So see, it's all random there, and it's all textury. I'm definitely going to rinse this out and put this to the side. My fingers are all messy now. And I'm going to dry that so that I can do a really cool little palette knife effect over it and make these rocks seem really rocky.
Okay. Okay, so hopefully this time she won't try to escape while she's drying this off and keep us all wondering where she's going. I guess she can only go so far because she's tethered in there. Although she unplugs, there's no stopping her. She could be Sherpa gone wild. So so don't forget, you guys post up your paintings. Love seeing these things. Post it up. I love seeing your paintings. Love having you guys with us out here on the live. It's really nice to see you guys out here in the live chats, hanging out, having a good time. And if you haven't had a chance to join us in a live, I highly suggest if you have a chance to join us, because there's a lot of really, really fun stuff that happens in the live chat. Sometimes on topic, most of the time not.
What's not on topic? Am I not on topic?
Oh, what we talk about in chat.
Oh.
I was just saying I highly suggest if they haven't had a chance to come by and join us live, to do so. We cover a lot of things, sometimes on topic, a lot of times not.
I am mixing a very light top coat. I'm going to put a little more blue into it, so it's blue like our rocks. And I'm going to load this on my long diamond palette. This is actually part of my palette knife set, but it's just the long diamond. You could use a metal knife. One thing I'll say on these is I like to sometimes wipe. I load to the opposite side of the direction of my stroke. So if I'm coming up the top of this rock, and actually it needs to be darker than what I'm doing. Looking at it now, right? More blue, more dark. Let's grab some of this brown. There we go. Now we're in it. I love it. I might get some loosely mixed in there. Other little bits of color. See that?
Yeah.
Loosely mixed. All loaded to the right hand side because I will be stroking left. I'm going to come up lightly over this. Lightly, getting as much as I can. Making sure that I'm leaving some of my splatter texture like exposed. See how we're doing?
Yeah.
Isn't that fun rockiness?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get my light color and say, alright, this little area that's lightened on my rock texture. I don't want to be too textural under my rooster because I may have to paint there. And I need to have some smoothness, but you can kind of see this first rock is coming into shape. Ha ha! Sorry. I don't know why, I'm like, the winning cackle! Like I've won rock. It's just the weirdest reaction. Ha ha ha, I've won rock.
It is, we have put the rock in place.
Sometimes I get really happy when I win rock. I don't know what to tell you. I'm making another loosely mixed but darker shade of rock. And I'm going to come here. Right? I may need to switch this to this angle so I have a nice angle to come up here under him. Right? Look at that. I'm going to bring that back. And just bring that back. I look at how I just so the knife is just sort of skipping over everything where the paint catches. My pressure of this knife is pretty light. It's not heavy. I can load to the detail and even sort of like, you know, say, hey, here's the rock's edge at the top, like you do. You can see where my splatter is still involved there. I can be just like, and I know I've got a lot of grass and poppies, so this doesn't have to be like super perfect. Let's get the lighter color in.
You just need to apply some rocks underneath there.
Yeah.
Your brain will do the rest.
Your brain does the rest, and it's very important to let your brain, I guess I'm going to go, sometimes I have to like, where is my angle for comfort? All right, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it. I'm going to bring this stroke down. So from the top of the rock down to sort of create this lit forward face. And there's all the spots that are lit. That's fun. Let's see how those are looking in the big cam. Oh, look, we have rock shapes.
Those are rock shapes.
Rock shapes.
That's what they should be.
When we come back and resolve those with the brush, it's like pop, 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 pop. And people are like, how did you do it? You don't have to tell them I'm your secret. You don't need to tell them. There's no disclosure.
So what you just put out more titanium white?
I'm putting out some more titanium white and some more phthalo blue. In this particular case, I know I might even have to get into some darker colors because the rocks towards the ocean are much darker than the rocks away from it. So let's pull my burnt umber over into my phthalo. I'm going to even grab some of this black. I want a dark color. See how dark that is?
Now,
a little red into it, but loosely mixed.
So Pisces was asking, what do you
I'm
do?
going to do the shadows first.
If you don't have a palette knife?
You can cut up a credit card and actually get a pretty similar effect.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we YouTubers will demo that because we're like, look, no brushes, which I've done. I've cut up business cards and done this. It's really about the way the paint is dispersing on here with the edge. And then keep in mind, you can get some of these sets, like even my set is not like particularly pricey for the palette knives.
Yeah.
And so it's not something that you have to be like, oh no, what am I going to do? Because it's like, it's pretty reasonable. I'm just making this little shadow at the front of this rock. And maybe some little shadow at the base, and then that little friend that we had popping up here, he might have a little shadow. And I can get right into my white and make my lighter color. But in this case, I think that there's some more ducks and red into it. It's pretty colorful, right? So I'm going to just lean into that. But I do want it to be lighter. I would say the value is the most important part of that. And I want to leave some of my splatters. Because without my splatters, what is the rock? Not as interesting. I'll put a little highlight up top here. And if there is one, I'll drag that back there. You know, and all the rest of that we're going to do in brush. But that little bit of cragginess, I like that so much, I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to take an even lighter value. I want to add just a smidge there. Can you see?
Uh-huh.
I just really like it. Do you like it? I like it. Sometimes you'll be like, oh, where can I put this? So I designed this piece in Photoshop, but this is the first time I'm painting it. Now I'm just telling you how I'm doing it. I'm bringing a little bit of that purple back here too. So that when I come back with my brush work later, oh, look at those rocks. See, they're popping. Poppity pop goes the rock, rock, rock. It's so nice, nice, nice. But we need to let it dry. Now I'm going to hit it with the hairdryer a little bit, and then I'm going to paint the sky and background, and by the time we get back up to it, it should be ready for us.
Okay. And yeah, just remember to use your hairdryer on the lightest heat setting, and don't forget to check out TheArtSherpa.com, where you can find a link to the traceables and the reference photo, the reference photo right there, and all of the other interesting tidbits that have to do with the video. We'll make sure that we got links and stuff up in there. And let's see here. Oh yeah, definitely check out the chat. We love seeing you guys out here in chat. I was just being distracted as I glanced over and saw everyone over there hanging out in chat. Nice to see everyone with you, and just seeing. Oh, yep. So
fun stuff.
Yeah, I was
What?
just reading chat and being slightly distracted while trying not to be distracted. And they're all very curious what your lipstick is.
Oh, my lipstick?
Yes.
Oh, this is the coolest stuff. This is Everlasting Glimmer Veil, and the color is, I believe, Reverb by Kat Von D.
Okay, that's what they
totally not a friend of mine. I'm just saying.
There was a little running thing. I was like, is it another Kat Von D? And they were like, the question that they were most asking me to ask, and I didn't know how to ask, which was, what lipstick were you wearing?
What lipstick are you wearing? Oh, I'm going to get this nice little purple going. So this has got some alizarin in it. I'm going to see. Yep. I like this color. Okay. Let's get some more glazing liquid out here. Let's put it around our palette. Right? If it's willing to go. Because Mama always clogs it up. That's me. I don't know why I'm talking about myself in that third person weird way. Just one of those days, guys. I'm actually so excited to be doing this painting. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to get more into the alizarin. I'm going to pull out my glaze. I might get some of my quinacridone in there. Oh, yeah, I'm getting there. Yay. And let's come across the top with this glaze. This is a number 8 cat's tongue.
Okay, cool.
I will update the description after this is all over with every brush that I've used. I like that. It's nice. Just a little bit at the top with this purple. I'm going to really rinse it out here though, interestingly enough. I'm going to take a little of my quinacridone. Quinacridone lets me bridge colors really easily. So the alizarin gives me some depth that I want in my reds, and the quinacridone lets me bridge colors with much less difficulty. So that right here, I can start that fade in the sky and not have it go muddy on me. It's just one of the natures of quinacridone. Sometimes I'm like, let's just go all quinacridone all the time. I'm going to take that all the way up. I'm going to keep bringing that down. What's nice is this purple range is where we're going to get our clouds from. I'm going to get more into my Indian yellow here. Here we go. Maybe a little more white into that. Probably don't have enough white out. So see how I'm starting to blend that in there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just pulling that down. Now, when it comes to him, since I'm glazing and since I have toned the canvas, I can go into him and not lose him. Look at that. And I'm not losing my sky, and I'm just going back and forth. How easy and lovely is that? Now, I've got a little purple at the front there, but I want this to feel more sunrisey, so I'm going to take a little of my white into my Indian yellow, and right here at the base I'm going to make sure that this skyline is a little bit light, if that's okay. Coming up a little bit yellow and a little bit light, because dawn would have more lightness to it.
Now Frances would just like to thank you. She says that the rooster is her Chinese zodiac sign, and she feels that you have designed this specifically for her because it matches all of her other rooster decor.
I've been really into it lately. I'm so glad you feel that way. That just makes this. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's good on my heart. Good on my heart, guys. Go.
Yes, but this is a particularly chipper morning rooster.
He is. He's sassy. He's Mr. Sassy Pants. Didn't you get the memo? He's Mr. Sassy Pants. I'm making a darker orange for where the sky is going to meet this ocean. It's okay, because again, everything is so transparent. I'm using glazes, right? So it's going pretty well. The only thing about the glaze that can mess with you is that it does slow down the drying time, and so you do have to make sure when you're doing dry brushing that your under is not tacky and is dry. But if you need a minute to blend your colors, it just becomes the jam for you. I'm going to get my white on my brush, and I'm, interestingly enough, going to really paint the rest of this ocean in this very light color. Got some yellow in there, right? Look at that. Pulling in the yellow. So it's very reflective and light. I'm still seeing him though. You know, my under rooster painting doesn't disappear on me. Just taking a little of that yellow through there. Look how we go. Blend, 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 blend. Lovely reflective water surface that is light.
Mm-hmm.
Doing pretty well. Let's do the other side. A little white, a little yellow, lots of glaze. Let's just keep. We need to make sure that we've got on one side we have on both sides. So I'm going to make sure that's light enough on both sides. There we go. It just needs to feel like it's carrying through. Isn't that wonderful?
You got light pressure on that?
Medium pressure.
Medium pressure.
Medium pressure. I'm more, I would say, relying on the fact that my paint is glazing, and that is helping me. Now I'm going to cover in here. At some point I'm going to really, some dark ick got in my color. I'm going to rinse out my brush. That happens. And before it dries, I'm going to just scrape off my dark ick.
Oh. Clean that right off.
I'm going to clean it right off. I'm going to put out some more titanium white. Right here. I'm going to put out some more Indian yellow. Right here. Just really like it today. It's making me happy. Take some of that into my white. See, I'm getting that nice light color. Now I'm going to do an interesting thing. Before I go back and glaze, I'm going to come to the top of this rock with this very opaque paint and give it a sharp edge and then blend this out. So see how light it is? And I'm just blending into the glaze that's already there. But I've edged that rock, haven't I?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely want to edge, because rocks are hard shape. We want this rock to be hard shape, but then I'm still just very carefully, fussily. If you did this in quilting, it'd be fussy cutting. See how suddenly that rock has a hard edge against the oceanscape. And I will come back here and I'm going to give it something very similar. So here's my white light. I'm coming here. So this is one of the areas where my quality titanium white is really helping me, because its pigment load is so extraordinary that it's just covering all this underwork. Look at that go. Do those rocks just pop now?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Just popping some rocks right now. Popping some rocks right now. I'm just blending this up. So now it's very blended. The edges are sharp. I can come put some clouds in really quick. It's kind of crazy how quickly this goes in. So first I'm going to put in some little clouds, and I might put in some distant little mountains to separate that ocean space from the sky space. But my clouds that I'm going to do, I'm going to take out my alizarin and maybe a little of my cad and some of my docks. And see, I'm getting this deep purple. If you need to, you can add your blue into it to it just darkens it into that crazy cloudy space. So here's my cat's tongue. And I'm going to just lightly put out these little cloud shapes. This is my brush is just sort of wiggling back and forth. I'm using that to help me keep this random. Look at that. The cloud shape. So my cloud shapes are not little puffs. I don't have little puffy clouds. We're not doing little puffy clouds. I'm going to just give these dark clouds some little space in my sky. How are they looking, Mr. Cooney?
Really good.
Just a little bit of, maybe up here, right? Look. Doesn't that look nice? And so my brush pressure here is super light to do this. Super light. But I'm getting these little weird clouds in. I put them where I like. I don't have to listen to nature. I don't care where they were. I put them where I like.
You decorate them in the sky.
I add them to the sky where I feel like their little cloudiness will add value. I'm going to come over here from the left and pull one in. I just love little cloudy bits. Cloudy bits. Light pressure. You know the mix. It's diox. It's alizarin. A little phthalo in here, right? And a little cad if you need to. It's amazing how it creates this dark, cloudy color. And just like a little bit over here, just very lightly dry brushed over. See, it's just very, very light. Now, with this brush, I'm going to add a lot more blue to this mix. And I'm going to gray it a bit. See, I'm just lightening it just a smidge. And I'm carefully going to come along this shoreline and add a distant little mountain. If I need glaze, I'm going to get glaze. Distant little grayed out shoreline. Little distant little grayed out shoreline. Little mountain. Just dragging it on there, not getting real specific about it, right? The only thing that I would want to have really specifically is that this under part does not have any blue, so that there is a definite line between the horizon. So look, that's what I did. I cleaned that up. So now I've got some distant little wispy. Let me see my wispy clouds, because they look crazy up front, but let's see how they look at a distance. See, we're starting to like find our little wispies, aren't we?
Yeah.
Rinse, rinse, rinse. Now here's the thing that we know about sunrises that are different than sunsets. Underneath the clouds actually need a highlight.
Oh yeah.
So since we didn't get that in the photo, we're going to take a little of our light color and we're going to come right underneath and just make sure that there's some of that happening under the clouds. So I'm just dusting under them.
Boy, that makes them just...
Is that helping? Let's see. Yeah, so we're starting to see them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to rinse that out. I'm going to get into my number 4 cat's tongue and my Indian yellow. Now this is going to be crazy, but hang in with me. Let's come underneath this cloud and talk about a little of the highlight. More white, and a little of the highlight. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
So that's how we get these sunset clouds to be more dawnish. Not to be mistaken for that crazy group of people in Game of Thrones. Sorry. Once it was on, I just had to say it. Highlighted, but not murderous and weird. Like a really, really gruesome flower in the attic, that family, right? Just jeez. So I'm just trying to make sure that I've got these little highlights down here. How does our chicken feel? Does he feel like he's greeting the dawn? See, do we like them? I like them.
like
I'm
it.
let them go.
And I'm going to get art high fives to Chrissy and everybody else who's
Hi,
telling.
Chrissy and everybody
Well,
else.
Chrissy was just telling me that she's sharing her finished painting up on Facebook, and I really, really appreciate it because I love going out there and seeing it. And Chrissy shared so many. I'm gonna
Chrissy
say
is very good about sharing. She's
thank
got
you
good
very
Instagram game, girl. You've got good Instagram. I see you out there doing you.
I love checking them out. You guys can go check her paintings out too. And but yeah, guys, thank you so much for sharing those. It's one of my favorite things to see. So.
I'm gonna switch my water. I think I'm getting like dirty, but it's okay.
You need new water?
Maybe soon. Maybe soon. So I'm happy with my background and my sky, but now I've got to ground my rocks. They don't feel grounded. So I'm going to get my blue and my burnt umber together to make that dark gray. And I'll get some of my glazing liquids so that they're really there. And I'm going to come with this dark color. And right underneath them in my number 4 cat's tongue, I'm going to start talking about a much darker shadow where these are hitting the ground. See me kind of pushing that in? Giving that hard edge to the front. Let's see. See how it's like, ah! Sorry. Cackling. I don't know why I cackle. It's okay to get a little black on there.
It's a victory cackle.
It's a victory cackle.
We have shaded the rocks, and therefore we shall cackle.
Now, predominantly my shading on the rocks, right, will be traveling. If the highest highlight is up here somehow, I've got to make sure that I am traveling that as much as I can, you know, to the right, like I did there. Nice, lovely. Let's see.
Oh.
John is my step back. Ah, yep, loving it. John is my step back. So here again, blue and burnt umber and a little black, and I'm just making sure. I'm just going to come along here. I'm going to scumble my little brush, making this a nice considered line. Load, 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 load. Glaze, glaze, load, 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 load. Glaze, glaze. Down here it can be quite dark because we've got all that grass and everything coming, right? So just get that kind of scumbled in. And then I've got to make sure that I've got some thought, getting more of my blue on there. I'll just make this a nice little defined edge that you see me thinking about here. See how we've defined that edge hard? And we're now thinking about these hard and soft edges, aren't we?
Yeah.
All right, let's see how we're doing. Rocks are looking rockier. And that's when you know you've really done it. You're like, my rocks look so rocky in the rocky, rocky sun. Putting out some blue because I'm going to have some fun. I don't need my yellow ochre or my cad yellow yet, but I will soon. And I'm sure I won't regret it. I don't know what I'm singing about. It's been that kind of a day, guys. You ever sing about weird things? You're like, I don't know what I'm singing about. So I'm happy with my rocks. They're starting to feel rocky.
I like the rocks. They've turned out really nice.
Now I'm taking a little of my burnt and my... Now notice that I'm a little more brown this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I am. And what I'm going to do to define this edge is actually define this dark space and the pathway. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to just wiggle this out in here and make this very, like, look, I got dirts. Because that's what you can do, you can do, you can do. Look at that. Now we found all of our stuff. We found all our lines and our space and our shape. Got our little spots there. How do we like our little spots? Not bad. You can even take a little of this. I'm going to add a little burnt sienna to it. And a little white. I'm going to make this pebble color. I need it to be light because I want some light pebbles. To be on my path. So I'm just trying to randomize this up so that it feels like, see, I'm wiggling my brush. That's what it is. That's the technique right there. I'm just wiggling it and making sure that I got my little highlights. Look at that. How's it looking? Let's look back.
It looks like a really nice rocky beach.
It looks like a really nice rocky beach. So now we have a background. There's one little thing I want to do on the background though. I'm going to take a little of my phthalo blue and put a little dots in it and a little burnt umber and some glaze. And I'm going to just give a hard line with my small brush. It's just something that I'm seeing that I want. And that'll happen. You'll be like, man, that's all fine, but I know I need that hard dark line close to that horizon line just to hold that space just a little bit. It's a fine line. It doesn't have to be crazy. And you certainly don't want to unlevel your ocean. Don't unlevel your ocean. There we go. If you lost the level of your ocean, you'll have to put it back. Which is just a clean brush and a dry grass. Let's see how that's looking. Oh, see, now we got the water and the shadow it casts on the water, and we got some reflection on the water. You know, we've got this great sunrise sky, and now we just need to create Mr. Rooster Pants.
Yes.
Mr. Rooster Pants is crazy. Dude, I didn't drink a coffee before I put him in. He's an involved little dude.
Yes. And then we get the flowers. Which everyone is looking very much forward to.
Are they looking forward to the flowers?
Yes.
The flowers are going to be super easy and fun. I'm going to take a little of my quinacridone and my Cad Red Light, I think. I might even, for this one, I'm going to put all my reds in. Look at that. Rooster Waddle, quinacridone, Cad Red Light, alizarin crimson.
Huh.
Mystery solved. Not really, but I know I have to start to get this space in, right?
Yep.
Where he exists, and he has this cool little waddle. I've got his little open beak defiantly talking to the sky. And the waddle comes down from that. There's an interesting little shape there. So first, I'm just going to paint the overall exterior contour line. That just means the outer edge of the shape, but not all the details in the shape, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to just definitely round that space out. Again, my alizarin, all those to get that little crazy rooster waddle color. And we're going to make sure that we've got another little one right here. So these guys are next to each other, right? Okay. So then at the top of his head is this comb, right? And it comes up. And it has a lot of little spiky, interesting little shapes. So I'm going to build it segmentally so I don't lose myself in it. Digesting little bits, little structures, and then building up, the structure as it's going. I'm using the edge of my number 4 cat's tongue to get my lines. You could use a round number 4, you could use a filbert, you could use a bright. I'm just making sure that I'm building a cone. Now that we know it's Lindsay's chicken, I feel so much more responsible for how he's doing. I didn't know I was painting Lindsay's chicken today. I feel like so much pressure. Because she has strong feels about her chickens. Like, seriously strong feels. They're like members of the family. So if she hears about it and looks over, I got to make sure it's a decent, handsome chicken. Because she'd be like, my chickens are cuter than that, and that ain't cute. I'm like, okay.
But,
she's super nice. She would never say anything negative. Like, ever. Like, if Lizzie was like, said something negative to me, I'd have to examine my life deeply. Be like, what did I do? Okay, so he's got a rooster comb that's starting to be there. Like you can have. Now I've got to block him out, and the first part of blocking him out is definitely going to take a little yellow ochre. And maybe even a little cad yellow. We did this a bit. I'm going to work my yellows because he's just an interesting yellow, right? And I want him to stand out in his world. I really thought about doing him against cool colors, so he would just pop. But I liked how he was warm and the morning was warm and everything was golden and red and just felt layered and layered. It made it a very harmonious painting because the colors were so analogous or close to each other in the color wheel. So I'm going to take a little of my yellow, cad yellow, and warm up some of my yellow ochre. And I'm going to come here and very carefully start to talk about this space that we have happening. Because we have some of this space happening right here, don't we?
Yeah.
So let's think about that. All right, there's these interesting golden little feathers. We're going to come back and paint them in right now. What we're doing is calling blocking. We're blocking in what we see. Making little road maps, like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Like a puzzle. And say I'm loosely mixing everything. The things are blending on the canvas. Now already I can see something I need to do though.
What's that?
I'm going to lighten the background a little bit so that he stands out enough.
Oh, okay.
So how I'll do that is I'm going to take a little of my Indian yellow over here and a lot of my white and some of my glaze. See? And I'm going to make sure that the space around him, and what I did is I kind of outlined here. Took it a little farther up than I wanted to. So I'll pull that down with my finger because I definitely still want that. See, there we go. You see it? How we lightened it? That's all we did. That's going to help us with him. And still leave us that nice horizon liney thing that we like. So we just want to be lightening that as much as we can. So that when he's coming together, he stands out even though he's kind of a lot yellow on yellow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And also because the sky is reflective, right? Water is reflective of sky. There we go. How are we doing? We see how it's just lightened up a shade, and that's going to make it easier work for us later.
Yeah. I really like how he's just starting to just pop right off the canvas.
When his black feathers come in, and then when we play these cads on the poppies, and the poppies are actually going to be pretty easy to paint in because we're going to do like those just wonderful sort of like loose poppies. Yeah. Because he's our focus.
Yep.
That's where our focus is. So he's the only thing that really needs to be sharp. You're going to love. This is such a unique painting for YouTube. I know it is. I know it is. Now I'm going to get my black out. My black, my black, my black. Interestingly enough, there is a initially brown, warm brown undertone to the black.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take my number 4 and mix my black and brown together to make sure that I am showing that warmth as I am starting to paint in his feathers. And you can see I'm just pulling the strokes down.
Yeah.
Look how we're doing. And I got a little crazy with the gesture around him towards the rock, but I just know I wanted his little chest popped out. Here we go. Rooster, rooster, rooster. Yeah, it totally helps to say the name again and again. How are we doing?
Good.
Everybody still super happy with the rooster?
Yes.
Okay, so he has some more like light colors that are on his little back, but he still has some darks, so I'm going to just put those in right now. And I think I'll mark some of these up into him. I'm going to get to my bigger brush when I'm getting to his tail. I just want to make sure that I've got him. If you guys will indulge me, I'm going to do some chalk sketching, so I just make sure that I've got him in how I want him to be. That his little feet are where I want them to be. And that he is going to feel considered and that his stance is reasonable and all those little roostery things. So the chalk is going to let me just do that. My water's dirty. Harder to do water cleaning when your water is dirty. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just want to make sure that, you know, he's got 1 foot believably planted, that his little body comes down, and it's believable that he's got a little tail that's here coming up. Right? Because that's what we've got to kind of pay attention to. I'm going to actually work the tail real fast, if I may. I'm going to load up my black and my brown. And coming off the back here, with my number 8's cat's tongue, I'm going to make sure that I've got a nice big feather planted coming up. See how the brush makes the taper, the feather shape? That's sort of nice, huh? I like that part. And it had another little quirky friend, didn't it? That curled out here. So I'm going to use my brush to do that work for me. No point in doing the work where I don't need to. Brown and black. And then we have these nice, big, beautiful, fluffy tail feathers that are coming down back this way, right? So there's this one right here, and look at that. Are we enjoying his tail? I really like his tail.
I love the feathers.
There we go. Now we know we have those crazy ones with the green, and we're gonna get those in. I'm gonna actually start switching to a little blue under my black for those 3 feathers, which go quink, because we gotta make some iridescent feathers, don't we? Somehow. Alright, so we have those sort of thought about there. Back into my black. I'm going to make sure that this is kind of thought out in the belly. He's got some yellow that's going to come down. But now I have him kind of blocked in, don't I?
Yeah.
So how is he looking? Let's look at him in the space. Oh, he's so roostery. So roostery. Can I trouble you for coffee warm-up and a fresh, clean water pot?
Yeah, of course.
So this is a great time. If you're going to see, my water is just super murky. If you have a water disposal system, it's a good time to go run that through the straw. Through the straw bucket. Through the bucket of straw, sawdust, whatever articulate you're using. It's all good. So there we go. He's looking pretty good. I didn't know if, when I made this, I was like, well, I'm just being so cheeky. I'm being a sassy rooster with this particular design. I mean, beachside, rocks, feathers, iridescence, poppies. What am I doing? I don't even know sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, I think we can do it. I believe we'll probably get through it. What's the worst that could happen? I painted live 5 hours, but in a row before. So it's not like I couldn't finish it because I got time. You guys might have time. I have time. Oh my goodness. He's like the sunset cackling at the sky, isn't he? All right. Now his little feathers do come down a little bit for his little feet. Right? Because that's little feathers would. And you can even be like, I like to sort of do a little soft edge there on stuff that could be feathers. So right here in the chest, I've got my number 4. See how I'm doing to create that feather texture? There we go. And I'm going to take more of that black. And I'm going to continue that feather texture kind of coming up his little chesties. Because he's super proud. And sassy! He's so sassy. I'm getting some more black. And I am, oh no, I didn't need a new cup of coffee, just a microwave, babe. I don't know, he heard me. I'm getting more black. And I'm just sassying it up, right? Little butt sassy. He's so sassy! Make him sassy. And make sure your strokes feel like feathers, right? Look, I'm making strokes that feel like feathers. And his value should be quite dark. You could even get into the blue and the black now. Right here at the chest. Look at that. Little blue. And you want to kind of see the blue in the feather, just so you know. Just so you know. You want to see the blue a little bit. It's going to help you really see the green later. If that makes some sense to you. Alright, let's see how that's going. That's really good. A lot of blue into that black. Just making sure that I'm keeping that up. Now, interestingly enough, up here and through here, we've got a lot of interesting things to do. And I've got the blue in my black through here. The reason I'm emphasizing this is it's going to matter in a second. Alright, so now I'm going to get a little white into my brush. See what I'm doing? This is my light feather. And I'm going to come here at the chest and show some of these feathers that are a little bit in highlights. See how I'm making the feather stroke? There we go. And even through here, we're going to have some feathers that are in that feather stroke. Now, while I've got this gray mixture here, I'm going to come into my quinacridone, interestingly enough, and my white. And it's like the gray with the quinacridone. See it? And I'm going to make sure that the basis of his little feet's coming out are here. Now, one foot's going to be super covered. But one foot probably will not be. And it's going to definitely need a shadow under it. Couldn't put it in until I knew it was. So I'm going to bring out the little rooster foot. And then he's got another little claw here. He's got one right here. And then maybe a little foot there. And then this is again probably going to be way under the plants, but you can't not sort of paint it in, right? Now in a minute I will highlight that and shadow that, and that will start to put those spaces in. While I'm here, I'm going to get a little of my Indian yellow and my cad yellow and a smidge of my, just a smidge of my cad red light. You can even get a little bit of your burnt, but I want it to be kind of bright. Let's start dabbing in some crazy little feather dashes. First layer, right? First layer, super bright. There's some of those little feather dashes. And then back to my yellow and my brown and a smidge of my white. Let's make sure that we've got some of these little guys, right? Because there's these crazy feathers coming down here too, and I don't want to miss out on those. Can we see them? See how we're seeing them. How's he doing? Oh, he's kind of crazy right now. Is your rooster crazy right now? My rooster's crazy right now. Is he awesome? Yeah. I don't know. Alright. So there we go. And we're starting to, we'll pull these feathers back in front a little bit, like they need to be. Rinse, rinse, rinse. I'm going to have a blast. I'm going to put out a little of my green. And I'm going to get a little of my Indian yellow. And I need more white, apparently. This is dry here. How you know it is an acrylic painting is that it's always drying on me. It's drying. That little blue. Look at that. Now, let's take some of this color and show some of those iridescent feathers that he's got. Do you see him?
Yeah.
I think there's some here. I like quite a lot. Let me get my brush wet. Put a little more of my green, a little more of my yellow, and some blue on the edge. Can you see that load where it's sort of like double loaded almost? All right. And there we go for those three. Pretty happy with those little fellows. Ha ha ha! Just you know, like a little touch, right? It's a little thought into what it is. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to need to give some of my black a second coat. So I'm taking my number 8, and I'm going to make sure that my tail pops, 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 pops. Before I get the poppies up there, I need to make sure my tail pops.
Oh.
That this is my second coat so that this is rich and defined, which it now is. So now I've just got to make these gold feathers pop and his face and feet, and then we get to the poppies.
Oh, very good.
And we're done. We're nearly there.
Wow.
I'd say we only got like a third left.
Well, we're doing pretty good.
We're doing okay.
We're about an hour and 10 minutes in.
Okay, so this is exactly where I was like, it could be around here. So I'm going to take a little of my yellow ochre and a little of my cad red light. I'll get some white into this. Here we go. See how loosely mixed that is? I'm going to just very carefully, especially along here, use this warmer color to talk about this. Aren't they pretty? Let's get a little more white, a little more yellow into my brush. And there we go. I'm just brushing that out. Can you see his little feathers now? Let's see him. Oh, he's so pretty. He's so pretty, 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 pretty. He really is pretty. He's a handsome boy. I'm going to get a little white and yellow. I'm going to make sure that I've got right around here, I've got these little pin feathers kind of thought about, like you do. A little more white on there, a little more yellow. Some right here. And then, you know, we definitely have a bunch of that right there. Pulling that down. And then let's take a little of my burnt sienna and my cad red light and a little yellow. Because these are a little warmer right here, aren't they? Have a little bit of brown to them. And I'm just dashing in that little bit of feather stroke. You can always come back with a little yellow. I haven't even rinsed my brush, guys. And a little white. And show these little pin feathers. See how we're dashing out little pin feathers?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I'm liking that. How are we liking that?
Oh.
So we've got him in. He's feathery. He's got iridescent reflections. Let's give this guy a handsome face. To give him a handsome face, I am going to absolutely fully need my glasses and a sip of coffee. There's just no way to continue on without it. Handsome face, feet, poppies, done. Rooster. Seaside rooster crowing at the dawn.
And you have to have spectacular glasses.
Spectacular glasses, spectacular lipstick, spectacular.
I like how your lipstick matches the flower on your hat.
I am kind of loving this too.
It also matches your jewelry you're wearing today, which I noticed, and everyone else did, by the way. They were all like,
I feel like this somehow goes with him. Sometimes I try to match my paintings.
And, you know, that's okay, because we all think it's fun.
I'm misting my palette because it's drying out on me and I want to get through. the detail work on him. Now I'm going to get to a smaller brush. I'm going to use a number 2 filbert. And I'm going to take my quinacridone and my alizarin and my cad red, and I'm going to make that comb color. But I'm going to put a lot more alizarin in it, so I've got some shadows. Like you do. If I need to, I might even bring some dots over so it's, look, even darker. Because we got to exaggerate. I'm dipping in water to thin out and improve the flow of my paint, because it's sort of at the end of its weird little day. And now I'm going to come in here and define this interior shadow. And then there's a little fold here, but to have the fold, I have to have a shadow under the fold, don't I? So I got to get that in. Maybe a little beak there, and then there's a little bit that's attached to his under beak, so I'll make sure that that's there. A little bit in front of the eye as a shadow. And then really at the comb coming up from his head. Now, without rinsing my brush, I'm going to go more into my cad red and mix a little quinacridone with it. And I might grab some white. I'm going to come here and make sure there's a nice highlight here. One definitely coming at the front of this one. Can we see it?
Yes.
We can see it. Good.
I thought you were going to go look at it.
Oh, let me look. Okay, good. That's what we want. And then here at the top, I'm going to make sure that that's there. And then around the back side of this eye. Right? And then interestingly enough, there's some right here. But now, can we see it?
Oh, yeah.
Now. So I'm going to take a little of my cad red and my cad yellow. Way more into the yellow. And I'm going to just dawn up some of him, if that makes sense. Like here at the forward edges that might get hit. Just a little bit in his comb, because I want his comb to be fairly noticeable.
He's got that, stylish comb over.
Again, a little quinacridone and cad red. And this is that third kind of level of red that lets this be a really showy bit, doesn't it? There's his beautiful, colorful red pride right there.
That's so cute. I really like how that turned out. The layers of all the reds just...
It's just really lovely. Now I'm going to get some just white on my brush and come just titch your ochre. Titch. We're going to come right around here. There we go. Then we're going to make the little triangle. That's his little beak defiantly waking the dawn. All the beach farmers are like, what? Because beach farmers are everywhere. I'm going to use some quin.
Wherever there are beaches.
For inside his little beak. There we go. And then I might even go crazy with this black. Watch, I'm going to load some up. And I'm going to just kind of talk about this a little bit. And then into the back of his little mouth. Oh my goodness, there he is. He's so pretty. Now, he's a pretty boy, but he needs a nice bright eye. I'm going to rinse out my brush as well as I can. Because first, I'm going to take a little yellow and a little cad, and I'm going to make this bright, bright orange. And I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to give him the beginnings of a bright orange eye. You see him?
Yeah.
Very hard sometimes to make sure that you've got certain stuff like rinsed out. Now I'm going to get a detail brush. I'm going to put out a little more of my fluid white. Couple drops. And I'm going to put another little bit of my fluid black. Couple drops. I'm going to load up my fluid black just on this detail brush. This is a 3/0 detail. These brushes are awesome. If you don't love detail brushes, this will change your mind. Because these are details, which is a big, big deal to me. Sassy.
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 Now you don't. This is the first time you've painted this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Rehearsal would have been advised, but I didn't do one.
But you've painted beaches and
I
poppies.
painted
and
beaches. I painted roosters. I felt like, hey man, how bad could it go? Could have gone real bad. Not the craziest thing I've ever done or will ever do in regards to painting. Now I'm going to do something crazy here. Get some just clad yellow on your brush. And you're going to come underneath here to the back. You can cad yellow the back of his eye.
To put some fire in his eye.
He's sassy! I was very, very honest. I was so surprised that he and the pig got dislikes before the show. I was just like, how do roosters have like a no rooster club? Or how do little cute, adorable pink piggies have a no pink piggy club? You just have to wonder at that. It's like, it's an original design, so how like stressed out could anybody be about it? Alright, I'm going to put a little reflection in on his eye. And here at the back. This is how strongly. Did I go a little anime here? Maybe. I'll own it. But let me take him in for a second because he feels the crow. He's feeling it. He's like, I will will the dawn from my chest.
I see the dawn. And there it is.
So I had a rooster as a little girl. He was a Rhode Island Red, and his name was Pretty Boy Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
I won him in a raffle. My parents let me enter because they thought, what are the chances? They should have realized that after I won the class pet and a whole bunch of other stuff that my chances were pretty good.
Yeah, everybody's loving this. This is their favorite. The favorite of the roosters.
He's so unexpected. I think that's the main word I feel like when I look at him is unexpected rooster.
I think that's what this is. This is unexpected rooster.
He was not what anyone expected to be painting today. So I'm going to take my quin over and I'm going to have a little of my yellow ochre. And I'm kind of making a yellowish pink, right? With my number 2 filbert, short-handled filbert. If you sit at a table, you will love this because short handles are wonderful to paint at a little table.
Oh, there you
I'm going to take the back end of the leg with this a little bit. Right? And here. Because he's got circulation. He's alive. Just a little bit here. Maybe even a little more pink. Let's go crazy. Isn't that pretty? A little more pink into the leg. And then I'm going to definitely mix into this yellow and get this white in here so it's super light. And make sure that I have a little highlight at the foot. Foot. This should definitely have a little highlight. As should this little fellow. Just saying. Foot. And even though this is slightly more in shadow and will be covered by a lot of plant works, I still want to work it. I still want to think about what I'm painting. Right? Because when I put all the grass there, I want this to feel like if it's peeking out that it's real, right? Now I'm going to take a little black and kind of come under my little feet. Little shadow. See how we're making a little shadow?
It's Rooster Interrupted.
He's Rooster Interrupted?
Yeah. That's what it was. Just read that in the chat here. That
He's
was
the
Joanne.
Angelina Jolie of roosters? Okay.
It made me laugh, so I had to share it.
I don't know. That kind of makes sense. See, do you see how I've created this little darkening space under him? Now I'm going to think about this even a little more. I'm going to grab a little of my blue and black and a little glaze, because definitely under him he should be a little bit in shadow where he would cast one, right? So I just want to make sure that that's there. Just a little bit. See how we're doing? So that weights him to the space. Super happy with his face. Okay, breathe.
Breathe.
Breathe. Look, he's got little chickeny feet.
Little blue suede feet.
He's so sassy. So sassy. Sorry. Okay.
So
let's
now we gotta put
let's
the
get
flowers
some
in.
number 8s involved. I'm going to dip my number 8 cat's tongue into some water. I'm going to get a little green and my deepest brown, which is my burnt umber, together. You could also just go out and buy this actually as a green, but we're going to just mix it right now, like you do. And this is the first layer of grass strokes. Now how I do my grass strokes is I press and release. So it's like a press, release, press, release, press, release. The tip of the brush creates the grass structure. Grass can feel frustrating, but it is okay.
You can also feel very nice when you walk on it with your bare feet.
If you're not in Texas where there are fire ants, sure.
It's
If you walk on your bare feet. Listen, if you're coming to MateItCon, don't. No, fire ants are real. That's not like an internet rumor. Don't trust them. They are not like sugar ants. That is not the same ant. It's a totally different ant. Fire ants are angry and territorial.
It's so funny when you meet
and white socks will set them off.
Like, it's so funny when you meet someone who came to Texas versus somebody who grew up in Texas. See, I grew up in Texas, so fire ants were just a thing. But if you come from someplace else where they weren't native, you're like, and these things really exist? And you guys just didn't go on a...
No, we do. We are like at war with them. Don't even think like that we're like relaxed about it. So this first layer is kind of messy, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how we got on that topic.
No, it just happens.
It does. Because
Welcome
fire
to
ants.
the show. I need to make another layer of slightly brighter green. All right, so I'm going to take a little of my cad yellow into my green here, but I'll still tone it with a little bit of burnt sienna. So this is brighter than my first pass. I'm going to just, keep this here. It's just a few strokes. Don't get crazy. You don't want to take out all your hard work. You just need a little bit of this base here. Once that base is here, I'm going to rinse this out. You're going to go ahead and you're going to get your number 4. I'll take a little of my Indian yellow. I can even grab some white into that. And now we're going to make some beautiful little... see, those two things will be like little poppies, and then you can totally say, oh, look, there's some different grasses. I'll get some cad yellow and some green. See how we're layering it up?
Yeah.
That's all we're doing. We're just layering it up, guys.
You do a lot of that in this acrylic painting thing.
I do. It's not the only way to do it. It is like my favorite way to do it. I'm going to put a couple poppies up on him. So I need poppy stems, don't I? Get a little white into that. Little poppy stems. There we go. Because a couple of those go that way. It just gives some layers. Look at this. Layers to the grass. I need some layers. Ogres and grass have layers. And I just want to, when I put my poppies in, I want to have a believable substructure that these guys live in. Obviously, when I clip them in, I was just lucky to be able to like crop out all the white. It's like working it. This is not dissimilar to how I have designed a long time in my art career. I get an idea, I test it out in some sort of image space, and then I paint it out 2 or 3 times. We're just painting it out 1 time. I am going to dry this, and then we're going to start putting in our poppies.
Okay. So, while she's drying that, I will say, don't forget to check out the links in the description below where you'll find a list of the materials, the traceable, the reference image, the website where you can find all the interesting things that you can do and see and other little animals that she has painted over the time we've done this. And my gosh, thank you guys for hanging out with us today.
I'm going to also give myself fresh paint because I'm stressed.
Okay, you get that. I was just saying thank you to everybody because we got a huge crowd of people hanging out with us here.
Do we?
Sunday. Yeah.
Awesome.
So
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, it's just been really nice having everybody here, just hanging out, doing the chats.
Doing the chats. I'm putting out my quinacridone, my alizarin, and my cad red light. I'm going to put out my cad yellow, my Indian yellow, and my phthalo green, and a little of my black, I think. I'm going to need more of that. Come here, you. You're my secret sauce. So I've noticed a lot of conversations going on about the CAD lately.
Mm.
And what I'm going to say is that for you, it is true that the cadmium in batteries is just not really great.
Not good.
Not good. The cadmium in paints is bound. It's coated. So as long as you're not heating it in any way, or eating it, or breathing it.
Right.
And even so, kind of like arsenic, there is some loading dose stuff going on there. I would say if you work in a paint company, be super careful because you're with a powder pigment.
Yes.
The other thing to think about it is that hue is not only cheaper but has no cadmium. If it says hue or free, it's the exact same thing and it just has no cadmium. It's the same color, but it has no cadmium. And I'll make a whole nother video like, why do I still bother to use cadmium then? If there's a hue, and I will tell you why. But that's a whole nother video you need to know today. What? I'm so weird. I'm going to put out a little phthalo green. Is the chat exploding with what?
No. What was actually kind of exploding in chat is, I don't know if you know, but tomorrow on up in Canton, there is a Sherpathon happening.
Sherpathon! Hello, Canton! Hello, Canton! We love you.
So, and then, I think it's channel 1023 up there in Canton, Ohio, to catch the Sherpathon tomorrow. If you're watching that, and that's COCTV.
COCTV.
You can catch that tomorrow. So thank
Yay!
you, Trent, for putting that together for us.
Thank you, Trent, and thank you, Canton, for supporting Trent.
And we wish him the mend. He had a fall the other day, injured himself, his back a little bit. So,
dude, I'm sorry.
He's on rest.
On rest.
He's thinking about painting from bed though. So
I don't blame him. I feel like my rooster needs something.
Your rooster needs. What does your rooster need?
He needs a highlight. I'm gonna take my Indian yellow, just dust my brush with it, and get like a lot of white. This is crazy. You don't have to do this. See how this works out for me. See if I come back from it. But I feel like right here, at this part of the neck, I needed to have a little highlight. You guys see it?
Yeah.
It just has been. So like when I paint on my own, I'll like look at something and I stare at it and then I walk away and I have a snack and I come back and I stare it down. Like it threatened me and it needs to be watched. And then John's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm just painting. I'm just painting. So first I'm going to take a little of my alizarin and a little of my Cad Red Medium. And I'm going to put those together like you sometimes can. And I'm going to make my deep red. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to make my crazy little poppy shapes, which are really weird little shapes. These are going to be distant and far away. There's going to be one that comes like sort of off the canvas right here. That's really all it takes to start this. I know a lot about poppies, guys, because when my mom and I went to France, it was my job to find poppy fields and get pictures of them and guide us to
to and from the poppy field.
All poppies. And like all my pictures from me and France is from behind with like crazy platinum hair taking pictures of poppies.
Yep.
So can you see I'm making this little shape? I like pull this in and you can kind of see the outside contour of the poppy shape. And you know, sometimes they're a little more closed, and then sometimes they're like round and pretty open, like this one's about to be. I'm going to just get that round little shape that the poppies can have, and this is my darkest color, with the exception of the black center, which is what we're going to do. If you're doing Remembrance Day, this will help for that.
Yep.
But, you know, and then I guess you could also give them a chicken. Seems like you have a rooster too. Your poppies with a rooster. I'm going to make a big poppy like right here. Just look at the shapes of the poppies and the references. That's why I pick those, because I like their shapes. All right, see that little cool shape. How are we doing?
Really good.
Isn't he pretty?
Yes.
This is the craziest thing ever. I could license this to print it. This could be a good like towel. This is good for home and decor is all I'm saying. Just little poppies down here and, you know.
So Julianne would like to know, are you a photographer?
Yeah, I've done some photography.
You've done, yeah. I would definitely say you've done some photography.
I've done some photography.
All the way from the dark room to, you know, like how I'll do all that stuff.
Yeah, I've done old school. I'm not very versed in digital.
Actually, I was going to say, you've done more camera. You knew more about cameras than I did.
Like traditional cameras, like if you have like, you know, f-stops. And
yeah. Like lens exposures and
that kind of thing. Like the current, like whatever's happening with like the iPhones and the smartphones, I have no idea. I got to take a class. There's a whole funny backstory to that. And hopefully we will be sharing soon. I'm going to make a big poppy, like focal poppy right here, kind of on off canvas. The reason I like to make things that come on and off a canvas is it implies that the world lives beyond our subject. Right? Just sort of make a open one, but he's sort of facing up. So you can see how I'm doing that. Pulling that out. Aren't these just crazy little mushy shapes?
Yeah.
Do you ever just think to yourself, man, poppies are mushy shapes. I just push in my little brush, and maybe this one will face us so it'll have a big forward petal, and then I'll just say, oh, there's a little bit there. So that's really all I'm going to do for that. Then I'm going to dry it.
Yes.
Like you do.
There it goes. So hopefully she's just now again, the reason why she's drying these is so that when she puts the next layers of paint on, which will be lighter reds to help make that glow kind of look to it, then we won't want to muddy the reds and pick up some of the undercoat, some of the lower colors. So just want to make sure that's fully dry. And yep, I think I've said everything already. You know, we've been here for about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit more than that so far. And like, comment, subscribe, and share. That's something I haven't asked you guys about to do in a while. I always forget about that.
I'm going to take a little of my quinacridone over to my Indian yellow and get some white on there. Oh, wait, maybe a little cad too. I'm making a very, very bright yellow that I can put along the edge of some of my petals. And actually, this is too creamy. I'm going to rinse out. I need it to be more yellow. More yellow, guys. Let's try again, quinacridone. Indian yellow. Smidge of white. There we go. Just here and there. Not in every bit of your poppy. Just on the edges of some of them. I've got this little highlight that's happening. Now I'm going to come, and I'm not even going to rinse my brush out. I'm going to start getting my red here. This is my Cad red. I'm going to just put little dashes of it around to help inform the shape of the petals of the poppy. So see, like if it's all there, then I know my black center is there. It helps me determine if, look at that go. So these are very loose poppies because they're actually, he's the most in focus part of this picture. There we go. Let's say this guy is facing us, because I think he would. I think he'd stand and deliver, don't y'all?
Yeah.
Let's pull this in. Oh, let's define that petal. See how loose and crazy that is? This is, sometimes it's harder to be loose than tight. Because painting very objectively is almost like a life raft. Because if you just slow down, take a deep breath, and think about things on an objective painting, there's an obvious way through. But on paintings, I'm just making sure I have this bright pop of red on all my poppies. Do you love it? Rinsing out.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't nailed my highlight, so I'm going to try my Cad red. Oh, there it is. My Cad red light and my yellow. My Cad red yellow. That's my super. There it is. I'm going to go right over. That is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So not everywhere, just a couple places. There's this. If we did these super realistically, this would be like, this is good when I figured this out, because later we can do a super realistic poppy. All right, there we go. So now we have that value. And you guys can see it. Yes, let me see. Oh, isn't that nice? Get your black. And I'm going to put a little black right there. Put one right here. And I'm going to tuck one in here. There's not going to be any here, but there'll be some right here. One tuck there. He'll have some. There's the faces of the poppies. They're facing you now. Who doesn't love that?
There you go.
Okay, now take your green over to your Cad yellow. And add even a little white to it. Just this last little layer.
Oh, I love that.
And then we're actually, after this, done.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We just want it to be... Oh, I love it.
And Little Brush Vera says that she wanted you to know that she really likes this.
Oh, thank you,
Flowers
Vera.
are great. This is awesome.
I am so glad you feel that way. He was a crazy piece to come up with.
And before you go, they would like over here on your table up there. Did you make those pens that are over there on your table in the upper left-hand corner?
Yes, you and I did together.
They were curious about those.
So yeah, this one here, which is a nib pen, an ink load. John and I made these together. It's Purple Heart and Ancient Curry.
I think that one is, yeah.
Purple Heart and Ancient Curry. I think this is, oh, this was Mesquite and Ancient Curry, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So this side is Mesquite, this is Ancient Curry, and this is crushed turquoise, and this is an artist pencil with a beautiful graphite lead whose sharpener is up here in the hilt.
We used to do that as a hobby.
That was our date night.
That was our date night. We could go out in the garage and turn pens.
Which is why when people be like, but wood turners do this, and I'm like, wait, no, because I actually know what wood turners do and don't do. Because we were a little obsessive for a while. We used to sell our pens, actually. We used to sell our pens.
We did. We actually had a nice little
boutique business of pens.
We didn't even mean to. We just ended up with 1,000 pens that were like, and people were like, those
These are really nice. I hand painted all kinds of illuminations on them, and then we'd seal them in these resins. It was a whole thing.
Yeah, we had a big lathe set up. There's multi-lathes.
So if you guys were ever like, why are we so fond of woodworkers? That's why.
Yeah. We love you guys.
I'm just putting my little signature here in such a way that it's in the canvas. I can see it, but it's not now more important than everything I painted all day. There he is.
That
Sassy
is amazing.
Canvas Rooster.
Yes.
So hopefully if you got through this with me and you really enjoy the result, you'll be feeling like, yeah, I could definitely do the pig that's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And I want to see you with Easel really soon. Bye-bye.